always hated dodgeball. I was like, why do we gotta play dodgeball? And then all the school shootings started happening. I was like, oh, I get it. They just want you to be better at ducking and weaving. It makes sense. You play the game a lot differently when you know what you're training for. No, I'm not a smart guy. And I thought Arnold Palmer was a founding father. He's not, if you were wondering. I thought he was an American hero. That's how we got the drink. I found out because I was talking about the founding fathers. I was like, Ben Franklin, George Washington, Arnold Palmer. And my buddy was like, Arnold Palmer? Like the golfer? I was like, well, I don't know what he did in his free time. No, I'm not a smart guy. I don't think they should let me vote. Like, I did it, but it felt wrong. No, I'm not informed. I don't know what's going on in the world. Like the other day, my girlfriend, she's like, it's crazy what's happening in Israel and Iran. And I was like, I can never remember any friends' names. Let's admit, that's a pretty good joke. You guys are like, where is he going with this? There's a lot of ways that could have went wrong, but I'm pretty good at this. A lot of comics think you gotta understand a topic to write a joke about it. Not me. To be honest right now, I'm worried about getting drafted. I don't want to go. Like if they start doing it and I get drafted, I want you guys all as witnesses. I don't want to go. I looked into draft knowledge already, so I was like, I gotta be ready. And apparently, like, one of the ways that you can, if you're like clinically depressed, I'm not, but I can get there. Like, how sad do I need to be? I'll do it. I looked into Ron's climate one time, and I was like, it's happening. And I was like, I gotta know how to pack. Because I don't want to get to war and be like, oh man, I forgot my mittens. I'll leave you with this. We don't have to end on the whole draft stuff. Just a lot of sad stuff. I'm like, don't take me. That's just the end of my set. Like, don't take me, I'm done. I've been telling you guys, I'm not a smart guy. You guys can tell. But, I was doing a show a couple weeks ago. I got off stage and the headliner came up to me. He's like, hey man, I really like your character on stage. Like this dumb, screw up kid. And I was like, oh, I didn't know we were doing characters. Could have just said, good job. Instead, he had given me a compliment that hurt my feelings. All right, that's it for me, guys. My name is Antigo. Start making loud. He's from Seattle. He's absolutely there. Just give it up for Adam Tiller, everybody.
Hey, keep it going for Aiden, everybody. Before we get started, too, can we do a big round of applause for Laugh Camp for letting us do this tonight? We have any vet techs people here, by the way? Thank you for coming out. Thank you for your service. You guys don't know vet techs. They give out free tickets for veterans. It's a really good way to fill a room. I appreciate you guys. You got kind of quiet during the draft stuff he was talking about. So I was curious how that was going to go, but I am happy to be here. I live in Seattle, but I grew up in Minnesota, so I was hoping to see some friendly faces tonight, but I think I got like 2 friends here tonight, so it's nice to meet all of you for the first time. I've been traveling a lot though. I was in Spokane, Washington not too long ago. I'm not bragging, and I was doing some work at a Starbucks. It was on my computer, and there were 4 guys in their 60s doing Bible study in the Starbucks next to me. They were talking about confession and pornography in the middle of this Starbucks. And they're like, you know, there are guys who they go into church and they confess to their sins to looking at pornography. And then later on that day, they get home, they get in bed, stack of nudie mags next to them, and who knows what happens. And I was sitting there, I was like, when was the last time anybody masturbated to a magazine? And I interrupted, but part of me wanted to just be like, guys, I don't know your book very well, but I'm pretty sure somewhere in there it says not to talk about porn in public, okay? Like, there's a kid behind you eating a cake pop. Like, what are you doing right now? But I didn't say anything, I kept it to myself, I just kept working on Pornhub, and I finished what I needed to do. It was interesting though, that Starbucks, they had a communal bathroom in it, which I was not used to. Most Starbucks in Seattle, it's like, you need a code to get in there, because there's somebody like nodding off in the bathroom. And I was in this Starbucks, this group Starbucks, group bathroom. I was taking a shit, and I was taking a nasty shit. I'm not trying to overshare right now. It's relevant to the story, but I don't know why I look right at you when I say it. It's a bad one, okay? But I finished taking this horrendous shit, man, and I realized there was no toilet paper in the stall anymore. And that, as a dude, that's a difficult situation, because you kind of have to time it when nobody else is in the bathroom, and you have to like pull up your pants at half mast, because you can't pull up your pants all the way. You don't want to walk around like shitty underwear for the rest of the day, which is normal for Spokane, I think. It's a normal thing. So you have to like pull up a half mast and sort of wobble into the other stall to get toilet paper. And I was telling my girlfriend this because we're close, and she was confused. She's like, why wouldn't you just ask the person in the stall next to you? And I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, in the women's room, if we don't have toilet paper, we pass toilet paper to the person in the stall next to you. And I was like, if I was in the men's room and I saw just a hand under the stall, assuming that person wanted gay sex. Okay? I would just put my penis in that hand. Okay? I think that would be less gay than handing toilet paper. I didn't do that. I just walk around with a shitty asshole. It's a nice Spokane Saturday. Driving over here tonight, and I text when I drive. It makes the drive better. It does. I watch it when I drive. I was watching Leprechaun in the Hood the other day while driving on I-5 North in Seattle. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the movie, but you are not the person I expected to say that. If you're not familiar with the movie, they take the leprechaun from those horror movies and they put him in the hood. And they make a 90-minute movie out of it. It's not very good, but there is a part though in the movie where the leprechaun, he's sharing a joint with Ice-T. And I think this was a low point in Ice-T's career. It was before the Car Shield commercials, but the leprechaun, he sees Ice-T, he has a gold ring on his finger, and the leprechaun sees it, and he's like, a friend with weed is a friend indeed. But a friend with gold is the best, I'm told. And he cuts off Ice-T's finger, and he takes the gold ring. And I was fucking dying laughing on I-5 North driving, and I text this to my buddy, and as soon as I pressed send, I looked in the rearview mirror, and there was a cop behind me with his lights on. And he'd probably been there for a while. I was texting. So he pulls me over. He comes up to my car and he's like, hey, I noticed you were on your phone while you were driving. Were you texting? I was like, no. And he says, what were you doing? And I was like, I was looking at directions. And he says, you were laughing. And I'm like, they were very funny directions. And he says, I don't think you're being honest with me right now. And I was like, there were directions to see your mom. And then he gave me a ticket for $200. His mom gave me $250, so yeah, okay. I've driven everywhere though, man. I drove 40,000 miles this past year doing stand-up. I had to go up to Castlegar, British Columbia, not that long ago. Anybody been there? Castlegar? I had to go through like a goddamn Canadian obstacle course going up there. Saw every weather possible, snow, rain, black ice, deer coming out of nowhere. And my final boss on this trip was an overly friendly Canadian guy who found out I was driving to the Soyos. He's like, you're driving to Soyos? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go to the Soyos. And he asked, you got winners? I'm like, what? He's like, snowflake tires, you got winter tires? I was like, I don't know. He goes, well, let's go outside and check. Yeah, so it was the middle of winter. It was 15 degrees outside. This guy starts getting on the ground. He's looking at my tires. He's like, these are winter tires right here, bud. You're going to be okay. And I'm just standing out in the cold. I'm like, all right, bud. And he pops up. He's like, you want me to come with you? I'm like, what? He's like, I'll sit in the car with you. I'll rub your shoulders while you drive. You get tense. You know, I'll give you a Canadian massage instead of body oil. We use maple syrup on the shoulders. Yeah, so I'm living with that guy now. My shoulders are very sticky, but tire pressure's just perfect. I never know what to do when I'm on the road, though. I end up with too much time on my hands, and I end up on Instagram a lot. My mom's on there now, which yet isn't my favorite mom on Instagram. The other day she was having a party and she was prepping these glasses she had for mixed drinks. She salted the glasses, took a picture and captioned it, "Rimmed and red." So I sent a copy of it to my brother. It's like, dude, I don't think mom knows what rimming is. And he replies, you should tell her. And before I could do anything, my mom put up a picture of my dad just like licking one of these glasses. And I threw up on my iPhone and then reported her account. I swear to God, though, she will not stop texting me. It drives me crazy. She does the Siri voice to text. She sends me 7 messages at once, not going to make any sense. And I want to block my mom. I do, but I'm still on her cell phone plan. And I'm 36. That was too much. Dude, she keeps putting me in group chats with people I don't even know. She sends us pictures of soup. When she's at home on a Sunday and she's making soup, she's all excited. She's like, hot simmering soup. I'm making my favorite soup today. And everybody in the group chat is liking all these pictures. And I'm fucking losing my mind. Because I can't get out of this group chat. And I swear to God, this is bad. But I swear to God, I almost sent a dick pic. Not my own. She knows that one. I started Googling dicks and I tried to find dick going into soup. And look, we're going to need generative AI for that. Just queue up ChatGPT. Like, show me some real beef and barley soup. Just hold the barley. hours every morning to sort of like calibrate their energy, right? Like you guys heard Hayden, like some people wake up in the morning and it's just fucking way too much energy. Yeah, and those people suck. Okay. It's like they've been waiting all night to greet you. Okay. And then there are other people where it's like they probably would prefer to never wake up. Right? Just rather have them in that category too. I was staying at a hotel recently. It was 6 o'clock in the morning. I was pouring coffee in the lobby. And this old man, he saw me. He snuck up behind me. And he just screams in my ear, "Just woke up! Do you need some coffee?" I fucking jumped, okay? He scared the shit out of me. I almost hit him. It would have felt good, you know, he had those old soft bones, like, it would have been like punching a pinata, just like pow, a bunch of Werther's Originals drop out. Just a handful of baby aspirin and a life alert monitor. That is a crazy way to greet someone. Like, I want to sneak into that man's room and as he's just like gently sleeping, I stand over his bed and I'm like, "Just lay down! Do you need a cuddle?" And I'm gonna have to spoon that older man every week. Maybe pull out the maple syrup, give him a nice massage too. It's been a stressful week for me. I did fly in yesterday, and I had to go to Planned Parenthood earlier this week just to get tested. You know, I try to get tested every 5 to 7 years. You know, be responsible. I was leaving Planned Parenthood though, and as I was leaving, they handed me a free bag of condoms. And I looked at it, I was like, I mean, these are cool. I don't really use them. It's kind of why I'm here to begin with right now, right? But I got out to my car, I opened up this bag, they were all king-size condoms. I'm looking at them like, I definitely can't use these. So I had to find a friend to give them to. Yeah, so I went up to my buddy Jamal. Jamal has an enormous respect for safe sex and an even bigger penis. I can't go back to Planned Parenthood and have it turn into like a fucking Goldilocks situation where I bring the condoms back and they give me new ones, I try them on. Those were too big, but these fit just right. And nobody wants that. I did get a vasectomy recently, by the way. Hold your applause, everybody. Okay, one guy. Definitely has a vasectomy too, I bet. Yeah, you got it. You see Dr. Snip too? Look, it's not that I don't like kids, you know, like I like kids. Not more than I should, but I like them the appropriate amount. I don't want to be legally required to communicate for 18 years with an Applebee's waitress. Right, like that's not going to be a fun story for that kid, right? Like my dad went in for the 2 for $25 and he ended up with 3 for 18. Like that's a sad. I can always tell he likes Chili's more than that. Was hanging out today, and I just had some time to kill today, and I got sucked in watching these shows on tiny homes. You like them, man? We have all the same things in common. Like Leprechaun in the Hood, tiny home. I want to see a version of one of those shows though, where they follow the couple into the home, and they show all the problems they have from living in that small a space. Right? Just call it tiny homes, enormous problems. The commercial would just have the wife in the kitchen trying to cook breakfast on the stove. She's in there and she's just like, "Ah! I can smell your shit right now! Ah, I feel like I can taste big world. I want to see a property show where they try to house little people in tiny homes. With a little couple kind of walls in there together. And the husband's like, babe, there's so much space in here. If I pick up a couple extra shifts in the chocolate factory, we could probably afford this. Fuck you guys, that's funny, it is. Look, I like shows about people living inside, I like shows about people living outside. I've been watching this thing on Netflix, Alone. It's called Alone, I watch it by myself. You seen it over here? It's a strange show. If you haven't seen this TV show, they send people out in the woods to see if they can survive. And half the people on the show don't understand the situation. One guy spends 3 days making a guitar. And then 2 days later, he's like, I'm extremely hungry right now. And he's terrible at guitar, okay? Another guy starts eating moss. Yeah, he's this foreign guy, and he's smug about it. He starts bragging to the audience at home. It's like, you can actually eat moss in a survival situation. There's a lot of nutritional value in the moss when you eat it. Yeah, and then 2 days later, he's just puking moss. And he's like, don't eat moss, it's not good for you. If I was on that show, I know what I would do. I would hunt and eat the other contestants. The guitar guy would be delicious. It'd be easy to kind of lure him in, too. Just build a drum. Start tapping it. You hear that beat come close. I'd be like, hey man, let's start a band. He'd be like, what should we call our band? No, I would kill him. And I don't know how, I don't like thinking about that. But I do know though, I would be the first person on that show to leave fatter. I don't know if you saw the most recent season, but they actually had a guy from Seattle on the show. He was a homeless guy from Seattle. He fucking dominated the show. He's like, this is so much better than my sidewalk tent back home. This is incredible. Yeah, and the only thing he brought with him was a small glass pipe. It was so cute. He didn't sleep the entire season. Do we got any Game of Thrones fans here? My girlfriend and I, we started rewatching Game of Thrones. My girlfriend, she is real, by the way. I'm not making her up for the show. We started rewatching Game of Thrones, and we like doing this thing where we role play in bed based off the TV shows we're watching. It gets really cramped with tiny homes. It's so comfortable, right? But we're rewatching Game of Thrones right now, so in bed, she calls me Your Grace. Yeah, and I call her my biological sister. See which of you never watched that show right now? Blank looking faces. It is good to be back in Minnesota. Who's drinking right now, by the way? Just pointed at your empty glass. Feel free, the bars in the room, if you guys do need to refresh, feel free to get it. You're already good. She was here the last time I performed here 2 years ago in the exact same spot. I remember her. She's awesome. Someone here's got to know though. There's that saying again. It's what, beer before liquor, never been sicker. Say that again? Liquor before beer. You're in the clear? That's weird. My roommate in college said it was something else. He said it was, if we were all drunk, nothing we did was gay. It actually was a slogan for our fraternity. Sigma Bi. So I go to 12-step meetings now, and I don't know, they always talk about how you need to find a higher power in these 12-step meetings. And it's your own personal conception of a higher power. Sometimes I like to fuck with the other people in the meetings and talk about how my higher power is higher than everybody else's. Like, I actually have the highest power. I have like the fentanyl of higher powers, okay? And then afterwards, some lady will come up to me and she'll be like, no one's higher power is any higher than anyone else's. And I'm like, that sounds like the opinion of someone with a very low power. I swear to God, though, after every one of these meetings, at least one guy will come up to me and just be like, dude, can I buy some of your higher power? Like, my higher power takes cash, yeah. I might be alone in the room saying this, but I do miss heroin. I do. It's not using. It's just like fentanyl has gotten so popular in Seattle. Like, I can't go out to my car without seeing a guy just like folded over, you know, with just like his pants at his ankles, with just full butt cheeks exposed. Okay, and like say what you want about heroin addicts, okay, but they never left the house without a belt, right? I don't know how many of you smoke fentanyl, but if you didn't know this, people, when they smoke fentanyl, they use aluminum foil to smoke it, right? And so if you go outside and on the sidewalk, there's always like little dollop-sized amounts of aluminum foil. I like thinking that, 2015, when fentanyl got really popular, there was like a sales meeting at Reynolds Wrap. Our numbers this year are incredible. We haven't seen numbers like this since baking soda in the 80s. This is unbelievable. It's fun to be able to talk about this stuff in recovery. It is. But we do, in recovery meetings, we do all kinds of stuff to kind of celebrate sobriety, okay? Like, I used to have to do this type of thing too, where we do these anniversary cards on someone's sober birthday. I always used to have to do cards like this at my old day job, where everybody in the office on somebody's work anniversary, they would sign the card for the person. Now, I was signing one of these cards the other day, and I thought it'd be kind of fun to write something kind of shitty about someone else who's about to sign that card too. Right, do it at your job or whatever. Just be like, Brian, thank you so much for 15 years at this company. And thanks again for not being like Dave, who's a piece of shit and keeps cooking fish in the microwave. Then eventually Dave's gonna get in the car and he's gonna be like, Adam needs to keep his goddamn opinions to himself and not worry about how I make my life. I'll have to take the car back and just be like, I can smell the fish from this garden now. Dave and his fishy fingers ruin everything. And by the time Brian gets a card, it has nothing to do with his service at the company. He just opens it up. It smells like warm halibut. What the? Minnesota's fun, man. It's I wish more of my family was here tonight, but I have an interesting family. I do. I should talk about them a little bit more. Start with my uncle. Pretty sure my uncle is the dumbest person I've ever met. I don't know if any of you have relatives like that. This is the best way I can describe it. During the pandemic, he drove for Grubhub, and he kept referring to himself as a first responder. He's a hero, okay? My uncle, he's dated more than one person who didn't have teeth. Okay, he's got a type is what I'm saying, okay? For Christmas one year, he tried to get my mom to buy his girlfriend teeth. Christmas teeth. Some of you are not laughing enough at this, okay? I don't know if you were wishing for Christmas teeth, I don't know. But they split up, and he ended up with like another gummy. And I'm trying to get my mom to buy her teeth too. My mom cut him off. She's like, I'm done buying your girlfriend some more teeth. And he brought a third gummy to our family barbecue. She ate corn on the cob in front of me. She picked it up, she started sucking all the corn off the cob. I was watching, I was like, I feel like I'm getting turned on right now. Runs in the family. That uncle, he emailed me a couple days ago, and I gotta read something to you guys since we're on the topic. My uncle, he's got a pre-programmed signature that he sends this to any person he emails. Okay, this is how my uncle ends every email he sends. It says, in Christ, Jeffrey Claude Danis, may God bless everyone in the world and all of you and your families every day. God bless all our military, police, firefighters, past and present, and their families every day. Never forget 9/11/2001. In our thoughts and prayers every day. He drove for Grubhub. He's an American hero. I was excited to come out here because I've been doing some crazy shows this year. I've been doing stand-up shows in prisons this year. I swear to God, 8 different prisons in the past year. And it's always a little awkward because I look like the guy from that TV show, Prison Break. So I get in there, there's always a group of guys that like, get us out of here. I swear to God, though, I've done 8 prisons in the past year, one of which I had to perform for the guys who were in protective custody. Look a little shit scared right now. You probably understand what that means, but if you don't know what that means, there's 2 types of people who are in protective custody. Snitches and sex offenders. That was my audience. Yeah, it was a room full of guys that looked just like me. Just staring at me with dead eyes. There was one guy in the back, I swear to God, he looked just like Voldemort from Harry Potter. And I started thinking, I'm pretty sure Voldemort is the scariest sex offender I can imagine. I think it goes like Voldemort, Pennywise the Clown, and then Drake. Those are the top 3. I did perform at a women's prison too, which was totally different. Women's prison is nuts. In the middle of the show, a knife went missing from the kitchen. And the whole facility went on lockdown. It happened while I was on stage performing. Just out of nowhere, this lady in the back of the room, she's like, stop the show! Stop the show, a knife went missing, we're on lockdown! Yeah, and to this day, still my favorite knife. I love that knife. Keep it in my car with me.
Perfect timing.
You say perfect timing?
Yeah.
For what?
The knife.
That feels political. Let's lean in every night. We made it this far without anything getting weird with the aerobics. My girlfriend came with me to that show at the women's prison. They liked her at the women's prison. They wanted her to stay. And we were leaving though, we drove past a skydiving place on the way home, and she got all excited, and she's like, oh, do you ever go skydiving with me? And I was like, absolutely not. You're too heavy. It's in good shape. It's in good shape. No, that felt worse than the political stuff. No, look, I've been bungee jumping before, and it was a fucking disaster. Okay, like I jumped off a bridge when I was like 15 years old, and they tied the rope around my ankles and had me dive off this bridge. But I can't dive. Okay, so I just pencil dove off this bridge. sounds like you up there understand physics, but if you don't understand physics, as I got to the bottom, I whipsawed at the bottom. And I knew it was bad because the guy who pushed me immediately said, "Oh no!" It's not what you want to hear as you're jumping off the roof. Especially with the echo, right? Because the whole way down, you just hear, "Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!" And as I got to the bottom, my momentum, it shot me back up in the air. And I felt like I was going to shit my pants. And I'm still pretty confident that would be the worst way to shit your pants. Because again, the physics of that, right? My legs are above my head. And I just end up taking it all to the face of the bottom. And I'm just stuck swinging at the bottom in full blackface. Just looking like young Justin Trudeau. And before we get to late in the show here, I do want to do one thing. And before I do this, actually, can we give Aiden one more big round of applause? Also, I'm not sure how this venue does it, but if you guys have not paid yet, please take care of your waitstaff tonight. They've been working hard all night. They've let me come here once before. They're super nice people, so please take care of them. I'm going to pass around this sheet right here. I'm starting an email list, so getting people to come out to shows is always tricky. Tonight was great, but in the top left corner, there's a QR code. If you scan that with your phone, all it's going to ask for is your zip code, name, and email address. If I come back to St. Paul or the Minneapolis area, I'll send you guys an email that says, "Hey, I'm coming back to St. Paul." I don't send out any bullshit. It's not like weird pictures of me on a regular basis. Right? It's just simply, if I'm coming back to your area, I'll send you guys an email. So I'm going to pass these around. Take your time with it. It's I will say, no pressure to sign up, but I do look at how many of you sign up after the show. And it will affect the way I feel about myself the rest of this weekend. So I mentioned I have a girlfriend, and it's a relatively new relationship. We started seeing each other not that long ago. I don't know, we went on our first date, and like 15 minutes into our first date, and we slept together. And I wanted to say something romantic in that moment, because she was on top doing all the work. So I leaned in close, I whispered in her ear, "This is my first time." And I wasn't expecting, she whispered back to me, "I can tell. You can stop crying now." It's going pretty well though. My girlfriend, she's great. She does not like me talking about her on stage. We've had a lot of discussions about it. We came to an agreement that anything I say about her on stage, she has to agree to ahead of time. Yeah, so the other day I sent her a text and I was like, "Hey, you mind if I tell a joke on stage about how you load the dishwasher?" She's like, "Well, I would have to hear the joke first." Also, this is the first time hearing that you have a problem with how I load the dishwasher. Yeah, and I didn't have a joke, but ever since she's been doing way better with the dishwasher. Thinking about trying it with laundry next, But we fuck with each other though, and you should do that in a relationship. Like, you should have fun with your partner, right? Like I don't really like asking her for sex. I think it's kind of awkward. Yeah, so lately I've been telling her that I'd like to take comfort in her loins. She doesn't like it. I have not been laying to walk, but she fucks with me too. Okay, like she'll be like, "Hey, do you want to have sex?" And I'll be like, "With you?" I'm kidding. I bolt for the bedroom, okay? But she does this thing where she likes to keep me waiting in there for 10, 15, 20 minutes at a time. And the other night, I was in there, I was ready to go, I was focused, you know me, buddy, just locked in, right? She comes in, she's completely naked, looks good, okay? Little fat, but looks good. She's in good shape. She gets in bed. She slowly backs into me, turns and looks at me and says, "Hey, did you talk to your mom at all today?" I'm like, "You really want to talk about mother right now? Like, what, you want me to start squeezing your nose and start talking about your dad's mustache? Like, what the fuck?" I have not been late in a while. We have a good time together, though. I don't drink, so we don't do the bar thing, but we go out to eat quite a bit. That's sort of what we do as a couple. And there's a lot of good restaurants in Seattle. There's a lot of good Asian food there. We like to go, to different Asian restaurants. But I've never been to an Asian restaurant before without seeing at least one white person get upset when they're given a fork. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's just like, "Ooh, I'm being profiled right now because I'm a white person. They gave me this fork because I'm white." And every time I want to be like, "Dude, they're being nice, like, shut up." If I was Asian and I worked in an Asian restaurant, I fuck with white people constantly. I'd have a four-top come in and bring 3 of them chopsticks and 1 of them a fork. Just ruin that person's night, right? They're like, "What is it about my face?" Just leave it, bow, and walk away. Doesn't really work the other way around though, right? Like, I can't be working at Applebee's and have 4 Asian people come in and bring 3 of them forks and 1 of them chopsticks. And I'm just like, "Konnichiwa. Good luck trying to eat that steak and baked potato." That is the whitest way to eat sushi though, right? With a fork. No, I think we can all agree the whitest way to eat sushi would be to warm it up in the microwave and just dip it in ketchup and eat it. It's called the Caucasian roll. It's something in the Cracker Barrel. It comes with a glass of milk. I feel like we can all taste it right now. I like performing. I say the wrong shit a lot when I'm doing stand-up. I do. I'm in Seattle. If you guys aren't familiar with the area, it's a pretty sensitive area. I've heard St. Paul is too, but you guys seem pretty cool. The exceptions of some of you being bugging me right now. But I say the wrong shit a lot. Like, I found out recently, you're not supposed to call prostitutes anymore.
What?
You're supposed to call them sex workers, which is fine, right?
What's the difference?
But it sounds kind of worse. It sounds like they're headed to the quarry to go do some sex work, right? Like, I don't know if they march on the way there. Like, work the sucking blow. And prostitute, it sounds better. It sounds more administrative. It sounds like you would be elected prostitute. Right? The county prostitute. The head of affairs. The director of load management. It was pretty gross. Speaking of gross shit, I read something the other day. I'm sorry ahead of time on this, but you guys familiar with this shit about pineapple juice?
Yeah.
But supposedly, you don't know, like, there's this urban myth that if a dude drinks pineapple juice, supposedly it like sweetens the cum. Yeah, what do you think was the process of elimination for figuring that out, right? Was it like someone moved from Hawaii here and they tried the cum and they're like, "Ah! This tastes terrible! It's all bitter and salty! I want to go home where the cum is sweet and lift!" Or was it like someone here went to Hawaii tried to come there, like, this is the best cum ever. Why isn't anybody ever talking about it? Like, this should be the slogan for Hawaii. To go for the weather, come for the cum. Sure, some of you were wondering why the cum was in a glass during that joke. That's how I take my cum. Alright, I do gotta get out of here in a couple minutes. You guys have been a ton of fun. We do have another show tomorrow night, so if you guys enjoy the show tonight, please mention it to your friends, veterans, whoever else. I am gonna sell some merch after the show. I got some stickers. They're sort of pay what you want, but I'm pretty stoked on them. They're very gross. They say Caucasian roll on them. And they got a warm plate of sushi with some cold ketchup and a fork. And I see you licking your lips already, man.
Does it taste like pineapple?
It tastes like pineapple. They're gross, but I don't know.
Where from Minnesota are you originally?
Where originally am I from? I
Yeah.
grew up here,
Where?
but like Plymouth, Whiteside area.
Okay.
I'm finding out that it's not well liked. I moved here. I lived in like 11 states, so it's not really like it's where I grew up. Right? All I know is when I moved to a different part of the country, everybody's like, "Where the fuck are you from?" The Minnesota accent scares people. You say what accent? I got off the plane and like, "How are you doing?" I was like, "What the fuck?"
What is it?
These are the people that are drinking their share.
Good bartenders.
Yeah, my mom was over. Not over sir, she drank too much last night, so. Yeah. Anyway. Alright. Gotta figure out where we're gonna land this plane. Talking about some food stuff. I did have a thought. I was thinking about the Make-A-Wish kids. Yesterday, this is out of nowhere, but it's a new idea that I don't really like it. Not that like I like the premise, but I don't think it's like I don't think it should be make a wish. It should be fulfill my demand. Okay, like I think we need to be more aggressive with the cancer. Like just like anything you want, you pick it, and we will make it happen. And the only caveat would be that another cancer kid could have their demand override that one. But after 3, we have to stick with the third one. It's like Secret Santa rules. It's I should have mentioned this on stage. I told you guys though, it's been a stressful week for me. It is. I had mentioned the thing about Planned Parenthood. I had like a big exam this week for sexually transmitted diseases. The lady, she called me with the results. She's like, Mr. Taylor, your test results are in. Gonorrhea, negative. Chlamydia, negative. Herpes, negative. Syphilis, negative. HIV, negative. I was like, Jesus Christ, lady. Why didn't you just tell me they were all negative to begin with? I felt like I was on the worst game show ever. Wheel of Foreskin. And the funny thing about when I went in there, they thought I had herpes. Yeah, so they gave me herpes medication. But like I just said, I don't have herpes. So I've been taking herpes medication for like a week now without herpes. Yeah, and I share that tonight with a room full of strangers. Because if there's anyone here that has herpes and needs medication, come say hi after the show. We will not share a glass. I do want to say this before I leave. I apologize if I'm a little sluggish for all the don't sleep enough. I never get enough sleep. You know how you can tell you're not sleeping enough? When the first thought that you have when you wake up in the morning is, holy shit, I'm driving. You guys have been so much fun. Thank you so much.